Every time I go out, I'm always stopped by people inquiring about the kayaks and kayak fishing in general. So I thought I'd put together a short video for people who are interested in getting into the sport. Uh, I'll just have a quick chat about the kayaks I use, where I got them from, what other options are out there, what gear I use, i.e. rods and so on. And just show it, it really doesn't cost a fortune to get into this sport. So with Christmas coming up, it might give you some ideas. If you do fancy getting off the beach or getting off the rocks and actually going out in a kayak, it really is easy to do, and it is cheaper than you'd actually think. So yep, let's get into it. Right, this is my 9-foot kayak. I'm 5'10", weigh 13.5 stone. So always consider your dimensions when purchasing a kayak. Obviously, the heavier you are, heavy as 9 foot isn't going to be appropriate for you. But I bought this little fella on eBay, I'd say about 10 years ago, and I bought it purely for just leisure kayaking, just messing about in the surf. I would describe it as I would say a Chinese knockoff of a Galaxy Cruise, to be honest with you. It cost us about 320 quid, something like that, if that. But say about 3 years ago, I decided I got quite bored just paddling about, so I thought I'll start trying to fish from it, which I did. It already has the built-in rod holders as a Galaxy Cruise has. Obviously, it's got your central compartment there and a central compartment there, and that's really it. That's your basic kayak. And then obviously I pimped it out, installed my own anchor trolley. Very easy to do. Loads of videos online how to install anchor trolleys. You can pick one up on Amazon, about 40 quid, and that's the whole package there. That's that. I installed my own little fish finder, and the wires there. Again, this little knobble, can't remember what it's called, but it's a sealant, obviously easy again to find on Amazon. Again, £30 I think that was. And then the fish finder, I got a Striker Plus 4 fish finder, which I'll show you later on when I review my Kingfisher. Great bit of kit. And I found I installed a transducer inside the hull, which is in there. Bit of sponge to act as a sort of mold, and then just silicone in there with the transducer pushed in. Again, loads of videos on the internet. I think Yak Attack does great videos on how to install it. Once you've done it once, it's so easy to do. With the battery, it actually runs through to the front here. What I do, I've got a little bag. Obviously, there's the wire for the battery. I have the bag at the front, and what I do is I put this battery, it's a motorbike battery, 12 volt. I put that inside a dry bag, and then connect that obviously to the wire, and then just stuff it all into this bag, and then just seal it up. And I find that's worked fine for me, no issues whatsoever. That's really it about this. There's not really a great deal to say about it. It is what it is. Like I say, I didn't have a clue about fishing, didn't really know anything about it. I think the only time I've really gone fish before was with my two girls when we were little. We went out on a charter boat for 3 hours mackerel bashing on a Sunday afternoon. Learned obviously with a bit of sabikis and stuff. But like I say, this cost me £300, £350 brand new, and I know you can now get the Galaxy Cruise models. They're about the same price, so ideal starting off little kayak, the Galaxy Cruise. And say when I started with this, all I used was just one wood. I had a little 5-foot rod. I think I got on eBay for something like £15. Some feathers that you can pick up, flipping a pack of 7 or 10 for about 3 quid on Amazon. And basically I use that for about 2 years. So yep, so that's that one. So like I say, cheap as chips really, if that's what you want to get into. If you're not sure if you want to take up the sport or not, ideal to get a wee 9-foot Galaxy Cruise or something very similar. I know a lot of people say you don't go into the ocean with at least an 11-foot kayak. Nah, I disagree. I agree and I disagree. Got to use a bit of common sense, especially when it comes to the open sea. But know your limits. Don't go out in stupid conditions. Don't go out of your skill set. practice before you start fishing on it and get comfortable with it, you know. I've been out over a mile offshore in this, absolutely no problems whatsoever. And to be honest with you, I prefer to use this in rough weather, rough seas, than the actual 11-foot one that I'll show you in a second. Alright, the second kayak is a Horizon Kingfisher 2 pedal drive. This one's 11 foot. It's rudder controlled. I'll go through that. Start from the back here. Obviously, rudder controlled. You see that there? And then you've got quite a good compartment in the back here. A back storage compartment that I don't use, to be honest with you. Rod holders. Nice, really comfortable upright seat. Really good on the back. I do have lower back issues, and I must admit these sort of seats are brilliant. Problem with them is because you are higher up, you do feel a little bit unstable until you get used to it. But because it is actually a proper fishing kayak, it's a lot more stable platform. So you say you have a front rod holder and then two at the back. Obviously rudder control at the side here. And obviously your handles, there's your front compartment. Again, to be honest with you, I don't use it, I don't need to. And the pedal drive system, this tray comes out. I can, there was 2 seconds. Yep, so that tray comes out, and then obviously the pedal goes back in, and then you can pop the tray back on top, and then it's just like a bike. And then obviously the prop underneath. The prop turns when you're pedaling. So that, and then so obviously you got your rails on the side. Majority of the fishing kayaks are the same, to be honest with you. And then in the front compartment, this is where I actually put the battery. That's when we store my battery in this little box, and then the wire just goes off. But it's quite a big front compartment as well. Obviously I've got my fish finder on here. This is Striker, Garmin Striker 4. But yeah, say in a nutshell, that's basically that. And say that's 11 foot, I think weighs about 130 kilogram. I think it is, something like that. You know, this costs just under, well, just over £700. This cost me brand new. For my need, ideal price. But I know you can go up to, like, you know, the Hobie, £3,000 worth. Really good kayaks, really stable kayaks, but again, big money. You know, so I got this, just maybe it's worked my way up to it. I'll probably upgrade again in the next few years for a Viking or possibly a Hobie, see how I get on. See if the wife lets us. But so basically, yep, so that's the pedal kayak. Yeah, I installed the anchor trolley on the side of this as well. Initially I was thinking I didn't have to bother because I'm thinking, well, if I'm on a pedal drive, I'll be able to hold position just by pedaling, which is true. Yes, you can, but you know, you can get it. I like to just sort of, when I reach a destination, just sort of stop pedaling and just drift. So I did install the anchor trolley to use, obviously, the drogue chute here, which I'd use on a 9 foot and the 11 foot one. Drogue, it basically just acts as a drag. Again, there's loads of videos about using drogues on kayaks. It basically just acts as a drag when you drift fishing. It just slows your drift down. That's all it does. And it can either turn your nose into the wind or your stern into the wind. Depends which way you want to fish. You know, so if you want to fish downstream or upstream, or face upstream or downstream, you can adjust the drogue accordingly to stern or bow, depending which way you want to sort of position yourself. And it basically stops yourself from going broadside on against the waves, which is great. Makes it a lot more comfortable for yourself. And again, with the anchor trolley system, it allows you then to use the anchor as well, which again, normal setup, same as everyone else on YouTube here. We anchored there with a little dive reel attached to it. Remember to have, I can't remember what it's called, but again, look out some detailed videos on anchoring kayaks, and I'll explain why you have set up as it is. Like I say, so we dive reel connected to a floating buoy, which then in turn connects to your kayak. I use this as a quick release, so if I need to get off anchor fast, I can just unclip that and away I go. Okay, with rods, I didn't have anything. I went on eBay. Initially, I bought this little 5-foot rod. I think I got it on eBay for about 10 quid, if that. And I bought a little Shizu 4000 fixed reel. I found works fine, absolutely no problems. You know, ideal for mackerel. Just string of feathers, little weight, and just bob up and down just off the bottom there. Obviously, when the mackerel are in. But again, yeah, so like 10-15 pound for the rod. And I think it's about 20 pound for the reel or something like that. And then to do bottom fishing, I use a warbird, which I picked up on eBay. I think it was 15 pound. I picked that up on. And again, just use a cheapy fixed reel. You can go on eBay. You can get like 2 for the price of 1. You get some great deals. I would tend not to spend too much money on rods and reels for my kayak, because I have lost about 2 or 3, you know, just coming in and surf. It does happen, you know, and plus seawater does damage a lot of stuff. But I found, I think I got 2 years out. I did another one of these. I got 2 years out of it before it packed up. But if you spend like 10-20 quid, you know, for a season, happy days, no issues with that. I have upgraded now to the wee flatten, but again, I think that was £30. And this wee bait caster, which is quite a good one. I think that cost 60, but I wouldn't recommend that until you know that you really like the sport, and then I'm starting to spend bigger money. And I'm happy that I'm not going to lose this. But you know, like I say, so basically, really, that's about it. I think another video I'll cover safety equipment, VHF radios, and all the rest of it. But just at the minute, that's the gear. So like I say, it doesn't have to break the bank to you know, get started in it. I'd say I got started with a 9-foot kayak, a little 5-foot rod, and a crappy reel there. So the kayak, the rod, and that, you're probably talking less than £400. Well, less than £350 to be honest with you. So you know that, and that's how you start, and then you just build from there. You know, you don't need a drogue, you don't need to anchor up, you don't need a fish finder, you don't need an anchor trolley. All you need is a kayak, a paddle, a fishing rod, and that's about it. And hopefully that's been informative to some people who, you know, fancy giving this sport a go, because it is great just to get out in the water, you know, and just try and catch some fish. Okay, well, thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.